I don't know if you guys are where I am, as far as emotionally about what you've been seeing, but I'm not an emotional person. I'm going to go off of logic and pragmatism, and I'll just go ahead and be completely blunt. I'm more so impressed. As far as my calculations were concerned, they wouldn't have been able to pull this off, but they did. To create a race based bioweapon implemented into the public physically by force, and then to watch one particular group be destroyed in real time in front of the world, and it won't ever make national news. There will never be any warnings. There will not be any tribunals. There won't be any Nuremberg trials. They will just go away with the whisper. You know, in my previous videos and for the past several years since I was kicked off the internet, I tried to explain to you how this works. They specifically made something to get rid of what they called their black problem. Bill Gates referred to their black problem as, and the vaccine as, the final solution. And you got to ask, to what? If you want to know what this was a final solution to, go on Twitter. You can find video after video after video of black people attacking and killing people, robbing people, just crime. And it costs a lot of money for social services every year nationally for different countries. And the proposal, I'm sure, was, hey, we can save the global economy 30% if we just take one measure. It's going to be extreme, but the results are going to be there. But this is the key that a lot of people don't want to talk about. This whole bioweapon and eugenicist program to wipe out black people, it's actually popular amongst blacks. For one thing, they promote abortion. They love it. And they will literally fight for it to the death. If you think about it, when you see all these old black people that are passing away, if you explain it away as a late-term abortion, they won't protest. They won't be mad. If you consider this woman's death a late-term abortion, that would give pause to some of them, and they might think that it's actually a good thing. A lot of the other issues is that this is what's inside of the Epstein files. It's the COVID vaccine files. That's the material that's redacted. It's not about politicians having sex. That was only 10%. The other 90% of the data in the Epstein files was explaining why he had offices in some of our most prestigious science labs around the world, especially in our own country. He had a science lab at MIT, but nobody magically, you ever notice nobody ever talks about what his research was or what he was doing? They can't talk about it because then you got to talk about who funded him. We know he was funded by Israel. We know who he was connected to, but if that comes out, then the Zionists are completely done. This right now in California, LED lights and cloud seeding is killing fully vaccinated California residents. That's the only way to put it. The skies will continue to be blackened out. That's why there's a cyclone in California right now, and it's been gloomy for years. We don't have sunshine anymore due to continual cloud seeding to keep that state in the dark. And when I tell you, the results are astounding. The death from the vaccine is 80% higher than in other states because the other states have natural sunlight. There is no cloud seeding, and there's also no chemtrails to limit your sun exposure. Other states who understand what is happening with this agenda have outlawed it. States like Tennessee, Florida, etc. I believe Texas either has already outlawed it or they're in the process of doing so, because this is not known to the public, but this is just known to people like myself and the elites and the people who are in charge. The creature that they injected inside of you, it grows when there's a lack of natural sunlight in your body, unrestricted. I wrote a whole column years ago, and I even have a phrase. It's the darker they are, the harder they fall. Now, there are black people that are like Steph Curry who have took the vaccine. It'll pass right through them because of his skin pigmentation correlates with his testosterone levels. They're lower than that of a darker skinned black man. There's no way to make race-based specific bioweapons. What you would have to do is you'd have to target a common trait amongst the targeted demographic. In this situation, it would be elevated testosterone levels. The only time other races of people have testosterone levels similar to blacks is when they artificially enhance themselves. And if you've been noticing, bodybuilders that take synthetic testosterone injections and to get that size so they can look like be built like black people, they're all dead. They're all in California too. And no one's going to talk about this except for me. So being that I'm your only beacon of light, I'm the only one that's going to be able to sit here and explain to you what's happening. LED lights are reacting with the creature after it grows to a certain size within your body. People that are celebrities that are constantly having flashes of lights in their face, the creature is when those lights flash, it causes the creature to create an epileptic type shock within your body. That's why you see people passing away when they're on camera, because there's a big light behind them in their face. Flashing lights are cause people to have heart attacks when they're driving on the freeway at night and the lights are just flicker, flicker, flicker. You know, I was listening to how she passed. It was the same way that LeBron James' son died. The difference is LeBron James' son was able to get immediate medical attention being that they were in a gym. She was not so lucky. Most people aren't so lucky. If you don't live within a quarter mile or less of a hospital, you're not going to survive when the time comes. And she didn't make it, but she had the exact same amount of cardiac seizures and cardiac arrests that LeBron James' son had. I mean, that's why they put him in the league. So LeBron James wouldn't speak out against the vax before they could fully vaccinate LeBron James's population, his own people. If LeBron James would have spoke out against it, it would have made more of them hesitant. So they made a deal with the devil and they put his son in the league in exchange for their silence and compliance. That's how it played out, and people don't know that. LeBron knows. So does Bronny. LeBron played his hand and he leveraged them and he told them he was going to, come out and tell people what he knew that had happened. And then that would have completely destroyed the agenda. The goal was to inject every single black soul they could. If you think about it, the only people that had no trouble getting access to the vaccine out of all demographics in the country was the black community. That's why so many of them are gone. This is the kicker. Estrogen typically will slow down the creature's growth that is inside your body, causing cancer and clogging your arteries and causing organ damage. It will slow it down. But some women, if they're darker, they're going to have elevated testosterone levels naturally. Fair-skinned women will be sterile, but the darker skin, the higher your testosterone levels, the faster and the larger the creature grows. They injected eggs into people. That's why the valves had to be kept in a freezer. And once they thawed out inside of your body, it started to grow. I played the videos on here from Dr. Carrie Madej and Dr. Frank, and we went over the Hydra vulgaris. They studied it at UC Davis. It's an immortal organism, but it grows. But what they did was they genetically modified it. So now instead of being carbon based, it's aluminum based as far as we can tell. And the solution that is kept in when they're giving you those fake vaccines, it's not a vaccine. It's actually they're giving you the eggs with testosterone. Because remember, the creature synthesizes testosterone. It grows in your body. Depending on how your testosterone levels are, that's how you know how fast it will or will not grow. That's why you see there's older people that are surviving this longer, because if you're a man, your testosterone levels are in the gutter after 55. So it was designed to grow inside the bodies of men that are fighting age. So from 13 to 54, 55 years old. If you're within that range and you took this shot and you're a California resident, or say you live another place that's very gloomy, like the UK, you're going to see the numbers. And no one wants to talk about the death numbers anymore. The sudden deaths, the excess deaths. There's a doctor that talks about it, John Adams. Nobody else does. Nobody else. Just me and him. So I, do these videos to kind of keep people aware. I've been getting this all day from people that have been watching my content on Instagram and Facebook for years, and they're just like, "You called it. You said it was going to be a woman that was going to be dark skinned. She was going to be black." And this is the thing: for every one black person that's a celebrity or public figure that's dying, there's 500 that are in the public that you don't know. Now, it doesn't seem like a large number until you realize this is per day around the country. Also, um, in ca- in case you don't know, um, sorry, there's people outside. In case you don't understand, in case you don't know this, their population has been reduced now to 9%. It's already down 3%. See, to maintain a strong, healthy population, you must be able to replicate yourself. She has no children. She should have had three and a half by now, historically. She had zero. So they're not just dying and being sterilized, they're also past the rate of replacement. In the next 3 years, they will be down to 3%, and no one's going to whisper anything. They're going to need to make reservations to keep their population afloat at all. Let me just back to play this video, shall we?
Big Brother alum Mickey Lee has passed away at the age of 35. Mickey, who was a contestant on the most recent season of the CBS show, died on December 25th after being hospitalized due to multiple cardiac arrests, her family announced. Quote, Mickey captured the hearts of audiences nationwide through her appearance on Big Brother, where her authenticity, strength, and spirit left a lasting impression on fans and fellow cast members alike. She will be remembered for the joy she brought into the lives of so many and for the genuine connections she formed both on and off the screen. Her family penned on her Instagram page. Lee had been in the ICU after suffering a, quote, series of cardiac arrests, according to a GoFundMe created on December 22nd. Following the news of her tragic death, fellow Big Brother alums shared their remorse on social media.
Now, in typical cover up fashion, they're going to create rumors saying that she overdosed. And they're going to blame this on cocaine. They're going to blame it on um, cosmetic drugs. They're going to blame it on any and everything, but they're not going to tell you that she's fully vaccinated because she's in the industry. Back in 2020, I was living in Los Angeles. You couldn't get into the studios to even audition for roles if you didn't take the injection. And I'm talking about they had it available in late 2020, even though for the rest of the country, it didn't come out until mid 2021. So we had access early. She's in the industry and she's black. She was done. It was already over. As soon as she took it, that was the end. I'm surprised she lasted this long, but a lot of black people, they die the same day they take it. The CDC's records updated and said that there was a 14-day waiting period where if you die within 14 days of taking the vaccine, they would not say that you were fully vaccinated when you died because you have to wait 2 weeks, they said, before it can consider yourself fully vaccinated. First time they've ever had a policy like that in vaccine in human history. But it's because they didn't want you to know what was going to happen. I don't know if you guys are listening, took the shot, but when you went to the drive-thru, remember they made you wait 15 minutes before you could leave? They did that because they didn't want you to die while you were on the road, because a lot of people died instantly from taking it. And you guys still lined up for it. They gave you an informed consent form that informed you that there was no such thing as informed consent because they didn't have the knowledge. And you signed on it. But to keep these careers and these jobs for another 2 years, you were willing to give up the rest of your life. And in my opinion, it just wasn't worth it. I remember Redman, the rapper. I remember him and Method Man don't hang out anymore. And they were like, well, why aren't you on Power anymore? And he said, well, they asked me to take the shot. I told them to go fuck themselves. And then they said I couldn't be on set. And they were like, so wait, or what are you saying? Method Man took it. They were like, isn't he still acting? The answer is yes. You're going to watch. You think she's the last one? All of your favorite black people on television, if they were going into a studio to record or to film or to do anything in 2020 or 2021, they took it. They took it. You're going to watch them all disappear. You're going to say goodbye to all of them. All of them. Nobody's going to survive the vaccine. The ones who are lasting longer are the ones who took one shot. They didn't take the second one. The second one is the one that contained the organism. The first one just turns off your immune system so that your immune system wouldn't attack this alien that's growing in your body and view it as a parasite. You have to turn your immune system off long enough for the creature to grow past the point that your immune system can't even hurt it when it attacks it. Everything has limits. That's nature. Don't let them lie to you. This is not an overdose. This was not just some random thing. She's literally had the exact same cardiac situation as LeBron James's son and the rest of them. All of them. My friends and my family members included. I'm not special and I'm not immune to this. You know, all these condolences, but I don't see anybody besides me calling for Fauci's fucking head or Gates. But then again, what if they don't think that they're the bad guy? What if this is what they think it took to make America great again? I understand both sides. I understand that every evil agenda from outside the United States attaches itself to the black community when they come here and they have black people fighting on their behalf because we have a born-in Trojan horse that was granted citizenship after the Civil War, and you have a permanent base of disgruntled people that hate your country and hate your establishment, but they hate your bottom line, but they won't leave. So if you want to tear down this country and demoralize its people, and you inject your agenda into the black culture. So when it comes to illegal immigration, what do blacks say? No one's illegal on stolen land. Well, that's not true. Oh, you want to press, you want to do mutilation of children. Well, to be black is to be gay, and you're being discriminatory if you don't want, love is love. And, they push all these things with one particular group. They do that on purpose. What if they sourced a big majority of the problems in the country to one group and they had to make the hard decision? Nobody else would. Until recently, Trump used to love them. And then they stabbed Trump in the back. Trump doesn't have the stomach to approve this. That's why they kicked him out of office temporarily. Biden has no problem. Kamala Harris had no problem. They've never liked those people. And I'm not saying you have to like anyone, but their history. Kamala Harris locked them all up and turned them into slaves, even when she found out they were innocent of their crimes. And Biden, the 1994 crime bill, need I say more? He doesn't want his kids in a racial jungle. Well, what's the best way to make sure your kids will never be in a racial jungle, or your grandkids? You remove the race that would be in the jungle that would be a threat to them. I don't know why everybody wants to be so naive and pretend they have no idea what I'm talking about. Keep watching my material. I do videos on everything every day. Nobody wants to consider the fact that their tax dollars went towards paying for all this research on Epstein Island. I mean, what did you think they wanted with all those kids, those orphans after the earthquake in Haiti? Well, why were they trafficking all those black kids through the Clinton Foundation to those islands? Why? What do you think they were doing? Epstein was more involved with scientists than the politicians. Why? Because they knew in the future they were going to need to push through a experimental injection without going through any of the safety protocols that would take 15 years. They needed to take 15 weeks. And that's what they bought off with the politicians. That's what the politicians were for. The rest of the money and all the rest of the people, the thousand of scientists you'd ever hear about, were all there doing experiments on these black kids because that was the target demographic. And look at the results. It's safe for the people that it wasn't meant for, but it's effective on those that it was meant for. So it was safe and effective. They just never told you what safe and effective meant. Just like Obama never told you what hope and change meant. What am I hoping for? What change should I expect? You were scammed again. Except this time, it was a scam that cost you everything, including your life.
This is literally high risk as well as high reward.
Overall, you seem pretty confident in the Big Brother house.
I think I trusted a little too much and I used loyalty way too much. And I think that's definitely what helped in my downfall for sure.
This eats, and I am full.
Mickey Lee, a fan favorite from the most recent season of Big Brother, dead after a sudden health crisis. She was only 35 years old. Mickey's family and friends revealing Friday that the star died on Christmas Day after suffering a series of heart attacks. Julie Chen Moonves adding, Mickey had a history of heart issues. In her tribute, the Big Brother host shares Mickey was born with a hole in her heart. Her loved ones say, Mickey captured the hearts of audiences nationwide through her appearance on Big Brother, where her authenticity, strength, and spirit left a lasting impression on fans and fellow cast members alike.
So if you're somebody that already has a pre-existing medical condition with your heart, and then you're injected with a organism that is growing through your body and grows into your heart, the results are going to be as follows. We don't have the luxury to play around with our bodies and let strangers who are felons like Pfizer give us injections of organisms that you didn't even know were in there. And the worst part is there's nothing you can do about it because you technically need to still go through Pfizer for life-threatening and life-extending medicines. You're going to have to be a customer of theirs for life. Surely, by the time they announce this in about 2 years, and when they start letting you know what the Epstein was really in the Epstein files, was the eugenics program, well, the people who they euthanized will be gone. So there won't be many people to worry about protesting. Right now, you would still have riots and fires, but in 2 years, you won't. In 2 years, you won't. And also, the people you want to convict and go after, you still need them to possibly offer you something that can help extend your life. Now, there were things that I came up with to help mitigate these damage of the creature. First thing was no flying on airplanes. Apparently, something is traveling from your leg up into your heart. And when you land, people are having a coronary. So I wouldn't fly anymore. I would get an estrogen regimen because testosterone is what helps the creature grow, but estrogen stunts its growth. Not permanently, but it will slow it down. And the other thing I can tell you to do is just stop working out because that increases your body's natural testosterone levels. And that'll contribute to the creature growing faster and you'd pass away sooner. I mean, these are the simplest things you can do. You know, I've been talking about this for so long and I'm right. And I always come here and do the episodes now. I wasn't even allowed on YouTube for a while, but I'm here because I thought you should know. You know, it's sad to see what happened to her. She didn't know this was going to happen. But again, the main problem is her community is past the rate of replication. Like they don't have children. They've aborted all their children. The Black community aborted all of their children. And then the rest are going to be gay or fully vaccinated. There won't be a Black community. Now, when you're 60% of the population, if you take a big population dump, well, you can afford to, you're 60%. But when you're only 13% of the population, you don't have very much room for error before you're facing extinction. And unfortunately, that's where we are right now.
Because it needed to, and I am accepting that, and I'm okay with that.
Pretty girl, but a lifelong Democrat, loved Kamala. I remember when Kamala told the black community that if you don't take the vaccine, or you're just a science-denying, white supremacist Trump supporter. I always wondered who fell for that bullshit. Well, I guess we'll see. You can tell who fell for it now because they went out and took it. The same people they protested in 2020 during the George Floyd riot saying white people are trying to kill us. The same black people that said that went and let white people inject them. It's like the material writes itself, you know. Sad, but she's not the first. She won't be the last. The night is young. There will be more of your favorite black celebrities will be passing away in the coming months and years. But for every one of them that's dying on TV, there's hundreds more dying within the public. They're at 9 to 10% right now. They're no longer 13% of the population. Why do you think nobody has issues with firing you? Why do you think they're firing so many black people? They know that they only gave you the job so they could force you to take the injection. Now that you took the injection, well, they can let you go. They only hired you so that they could inject you. And also, they don't owe you any benefits when you die because you're fired now. So they don't. So if you die while you're at work, then there's certain benefits that they pay out for your death. But you're not entitled to those anymore if they fire you before you pass. So that's why they're trying to hurry up and fire all these black people that they vaccinated because they know their mortality is imminent. Other people were going to live a lot longer with this in their body because it wasn't designed to grow as fast in them as it was in you. If you're Asian or Jewish, it wasn't designed to grow inside your bodies at all. This is all old research. You guys never read any of this? I literally shared all the documents and articles. And you know who else did that you fucking geniuses ignored? Our current HHS secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. explained all this shit years ago. And you ignored him because, Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon said he was a quack. And now you're dead. And now everybody around you's dropping. I got 4 people under 30 talking about they have leukemia. And they all got it within the last year. But I remember what they did in the summer the year before. Remember that movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer? Well, I know what they did last summer. I warned them too. You're watching an extinction happen before your very eyes, and it will go out with a whimper. No one's going to come to their defense because there's no way to stop it. It's too late anyway. It's too late. I'm not happy about saying it, but I have to live in the real world. I knew what was going to happen. I knew what people were getting themselves into. I begged them to stop because, well, that's going to affect my bottom line. I'll keep you guys up to date and let you know who's next. Like and subscribe, share the video. If you have any comments or if you know some people that took this that are also magically have turbo cancer and you want me to do a report about it, you want to talk to me about it, you can jump on live. I'll give you the number and we can have a conversation. I'm going to respond to all of the comments and we'll go from there. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.